will come true if your mind isn't glued to the fact that life is so blue. Hi there, it's Sandy. AnaLynne. No, excuse me. I'm a star now. AnaLynne, would you please introduce yourself? Fine. Oh my god, it's Sarah Rugg! AnaLynne and AnaLynne, and welcome to the Sandy and Friends podcast. Today we're with the incredible Sarah Rugg, who I'm sure you've seen online with her incredible pieces of art, specifically, Brian. So how are you, Sarah?
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you? How are you both?
I think she kind of answered that.
All right, got it. Noted.
I'm well. I can verbalize.
Excellent.
AnaLynne. Oh, sorry. So AnaLynne's gonna ask you some questions. AnaLynne. Oh my goodness. Okay, AnaLynne, come on. Okay, all right.
It's okay. It's fine.
Talking to me, AnaLynne. All right. So for those of you watching, we're gonna ask Sarah a ton about Sarah and her art and Brian May. So I think AnaLynne should kick this off. Excuse me, you just hit me, AnaLynne. Okay. So when was it that you first took an interest in art, Sarah?
Ooh, good question. Technically, I've always enjoyed art for like as long as I can remember. But I started taking it seriously when I was in high school. It was when I really buckled down and, focused my energy. It was like, oh, maybe I could do something with this instead of just keeping it a hobby. So, yeah.
Maybe I can do something with this.
Maybe. Yeah, well, you never know, right? Like, it always kind of starts off as just for fun, but you never really think, can I do something else with this in the future? But you won't know unless you try, right?
Oh, absolutely. What was the first kind of art that you endeavored upon? Was it painting or sketching, or what were you into?
Quite a few things, namely like pencil drawing, but I suppose I should answer airbrush primarily. That was my main focus, is airbrushing. So I used to airbrush onto t-shirts and stuff, and then I used to airbrush onto like black velvet illustration board, which is as 70s as it sounds. It's fantastic. Yeah. But yeah, airbrushing was kind of my primary medium for quite a while.
Okay, I'm sorry. Could you just go into a little bit more about what airbrushing is?
I can, yeah. Actually, do you want me to bring out an airbrush?
Absolutely.
This isn't my main airbrush, but it's the first one I saw.
That's all good.
So this is an airbrush.
Oh wow. So how does it work?
So an airbrush, you connect it up to a air compressor so you can feed the air through it. And it has this little trigger up here. You push down for air, and then you pull back for your paint flow. So you keep your paint in here. You have some airbrushes where you keep the cup on the side. But you put your paint up here, and then there's a needle inside here that goes back and forth with the trigger that controls the amount of paint that comes out when you're spraying. So think kind of like an aerosol can, like a spray can, but with way more finer control.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, that's an airbrush. That's primarily what I used for quite a number of years.
I want to do that. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, yeah. I highly recommend trying it out if you can. If you have access to the tools or anything, or if you know someone who has them, it's a lot of fun.
I'm gonna get one now. What's happening?
Uh-oh.
Did that specifically attracted you to using the airbrush?
My high school actually had a graphic arts lab, and there was a whole setup of these. And so we were one of the few high schools in my city I think actually probably one of the only high schools in my city who had sort of an airbrushing focus. So.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
It is, yeah, it's very specialized.
Gosh, are the pieces that you do online of Brian all made with the airbrush?
No, those are digital. So I was airbrushing for about, oh God, I'm very old, quite a while, since high school, and then past that, geez, probably over 12, 13, 14 years. And then I decided to try digital. because with airbrushing, you need paints and board and supply and all of that stuff, right? I was drawing Brian so much. I was like, this is a lot of supplies. Let's see if I can use digital, because then I can just draw him as many times as I want and don't have to worry about it. So that's actually why I jumped over to digital.
That's actually incredibly funny. I love that. Well, I mean, let's face it, Brian is like godly.
he's got pretty epic hair. Yeah, it makes it pretty godly.
I would have to agree with that. So how do you go about creating what you see? Is there a specific method to drawing people?
Oh God, practice. Practice. And I hate saying that because it's frustrating to hear, but honestly, it's developing your hand and your hand-eye coordination and understanding proportion. And for me, I'm an artist who I need a reference. There are a lot of artists out there who don't. Some can kind of balance in between, but I need to look at what I'm drawing in order to then make it my own and apply my own sort of style onto it. So kind of figure out what works best for you, but it's honestly, it's just practice.
Practice, that's what I have to do. Oh, darn.
I'm sorry. I wish the answer were easier, but
AnaLynne, you have to be patient. Excuse me. Okay, all right, jeez. Sarah, I gotta know, when you're drawing things that aren't people, is that the same process of just feeling it out like that?
kind of, yeah. Like say with like animals and stuff. Yes, it still helps to have like a photo reference, but you can have a little bit more leeway because you're not worrying too much about likeness.
Oh, right.
Like if it's a pet portrait, kind of more so, but like if you're just drawing kind of generic animals and stuff like I just did for Brian's jacket, you need to, I wanted to like just capture the spirit of the animal and the essence of the animal more than anything. So that's, yeah.
All right, I dig it. All right, so AnaLynne.
Yeah.
If you were gonna draw someone as gorgeous as me, how would you go about doing it?
Well, I'd make sure I have a lovely photo, and then I would spend quite a while making sure I capture your eyes and your hair perfectly. It's taking my time. I don't rush anything. In fact, I've gotten slower.
No, I understand that, trying to be precise, getting into it. I dig it. How did your interest in Brian May develop?
That's a good question. I think like with a lot of, I want to say newer fans with Bohemian Rhapsody when the movie came out. But I can say my mom raised me on Queen. So Queen has always been a part of my life. But I jumped into the fandom properly when the film came out. And then once I kind of dug into Queen from that perspective, I was like, oh, this Brian guy is really fantastic. And he's got a passion for music, animals, space, stereography. Like there was just so much to kind of be inspired by, and I couldn't help but be drawn towards him and everything that he does. And yeah.
Oh golly, I'm sure. So you took an interest in him more as from the perspective of just who he is than solely as being a musician, I see.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, obviously he's an amazing musician, right?
No one can play guitar like that guy. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. But yeah, it was kind of, I was like, oh, this guy's very interesting. And there's just, I think, how do I want to say this? I think anyone who looks at him can find something about him that they're drawn towards, because he is so like well-rounded and has so many passions that you can almost always find something in him that you relate with.
Oh, I completely understand that. Oh, he's awesome. Oh, I love that you admire him so much. It's pretty evident. I mean, obviously in your work, so that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
Oh, definitely. AnaLynne. So when was it that you started making these pieces of Brian?
Probably right after Bohemian Rhapsody, and I kind of started kind of don't want to say falling in love with, but more or less falling in love with Brian as like kind of an inspiration. I couldn't help myself. It was like, I have to draw this guy. Like just one piece wasn't enough. You know, it was like, there's more here that I want to explore. And I think a lot of other artists felt the same. So it's been a few years now, which is wild to say, but yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, that is so cool. And you know what? I understand that because sometimes I'm scrolling down Instagram and then I'll see one of your pieces and I'll go, oh, seeing one of these is just not enough. And then I start going down your profile and it's hours there.
Oh dear.
Yes. So do you do any musical work yourself?
I can't really say yes, but you know, I was in band in elementary school. And you know, I've like dabbled on the piano and stuff. My mom had a piano at home and a keyboard. And now I'm like teaching myself guitar because of course I am. But I wouldn't call myself very musically proficient. I'm always like singing. So music is always a part of my life, but I'm not very professional at it. It's very much just a hobby for me.
Oh, forget professional. Oh.
No, yeah. I don't think I could ever do anything with music in my life, but I definitely keep it close.
Oh, I love that. Oh, there's a question coming. You're teaching yourself the guitar. What is it that you're teaching yourself? Are you going for the whole Brian May riff type thing, or strumming chords?
I mean, I just play by ear. So right now I'm just teaching myself songs that I like. I've been teaching myself like 39, Love of My Life, White Queen, sort of I Want It All, like just to learn finger picking chords, kind of, you know, building up my skills through different songs, I think is how I learned best. But I'm sure I'm teaching myself a lot of bad habits.
Oh, I'm sure you're great at it. And now I suddenly have the urge to learn 39. The guitar.
It's fun. It's fun to play.
That's great. When was the first time you had any interaction with Brian?
On Instagram, over 2 years ago. I think Instagram is kind of where he engages with his fans the most. And so I never set out to kind of catch his attention so much as I was like, well, this guy inspires me, you know? So like, it would be cool if he saw something that I made, you know, it'd be cool if he liked something or, you know, that'd be neat. But yeah, January 2020, I was just scrolling my phone and like I picked up my phone and looked and it was like Brian May for real started following you. And I was like, oh God. Oh God. Like my heart was just like, yeah, that's kind of where things started. And I was like, oh, he can see what I make now. It was, yeah, kind of started there.
Just kind of started.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. AnaLynne.
Yeah, that's about what I said when I saw it.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, the next question was, what was your reaction to that? But I kind of have an idea.
It was, yeah.
So, you started out as a fan that ended up getting to work with him.
Yeah, how did that happen? That's wild to me. I still have a hard time wrapping my head around it, but I can. Yeah, he's a very dear friend of mine now, and he's fantastic. It's weird looking back and just being like, you know, I'm still such a fan, but also it's like, well, that's my friend, that's my pal.
Oh, that must be the best. Oh my goodness. You know what? I think I'm gonna be able to say that about you someday. I hope we can become friends, Sarah.
For sure.
So tell us a bit about the projects you've worked on with Brian.
Well, I actually have them here with me.
Hey.
So the first one started out as I just wanted to do something nice for him. I just wanted to send him just like a little gift as like a thank you for, you know, being such an inspiration to me and like kind of, because he really kind of opened up a new chapter in my life of, creativity in art and developing my skills that I hadn't had in a very long time.
Oh gosh.
So I was like, I want to send him some art, but I don't want to send him 500 loose prints. So let's make it a book. And that way it's all in one spot. And he got it. He loved it. And he suggested to me, listen, I think a lot of people would really like this. And so he suggested we make a book. And so we did. And that turned into this, which came out at the same time or just after Back to the Light re-release. So it is a book with all of my art. Well, at the time, most of my art at the time. Let's see if I can find a nice picture.
Yeah, let's see it. Oh my goodness. You were just incredible. Oh, those are beautiful. I can't understand how you just capture that so well. I'm in awe.
A lot of time and dedication, but yeah, so this book was our first project together, which I'm still kind of flabbergasted about because it's the first time I've ever been published kind of in a book form as an artist. So yeah, that went over really well. I think people really liked it. And then the end of so that came out last year in August, so 2021. And at the end of last year, he asked, Another World's coming out. We should do this again, but let's make it a community project. And so that's when the idea for this book came together, which is a collection of over 200 artists. Not all of the artists, unfortunately. We could make 10 books and still have more to spare. But yeah, it's just a collection of a bunch of fan art from the community.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
And yeah, it's pretty wild how this turned out.
Wow, there's some really talented fans. Jeez.
It's wild. There's an insane amount of talent in this community. And this really only scratches the surface. And we both stress that this is hardly the representation of everyone because there's so many different mediums that people work with. There's so many different styles that artists have. And we only had so many pages that we could use. So we had to be pretty tight with it. But yeah, so I edited that and it's out. And yeah, that's
Where can people get
projects. On Queen Online or London Stereoscopic Company, because that's the publisher. So you can get it from there. And all of the profits go towards Save Me Trust, which is Brian's charity. So
Great.
Yeah, get books with some nice art and help out a good cause.
I think everyone watching should go order something there. Just saying. Just saying.
It's a good book, I tell you. I might be a little biased, but I think they're pretty cool.
I'm partial to the cover, just saying. While we're talking about Brian art, I feel the need to to bring Brian out simply because I don't think enough people have seen this guy. And
there he is.
Sandy can't do an English accent to save her life, so you know.
They're tricky. Oh my god, I love that. I love his hair. I love the guitar, the outfit, everything. It's fantastic.
Thank you. I just felt the need to share that. Excuse me, what are you doing? I gotta put you down. I think real Brian's a bit different, but oh, why'd you do that? All right. I gotta know, what is it like getting to see such an enormous response to your art? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, all the posts online in response to the things that you share. You've influenced quite a few people, and I'm one of them. So,
it's kind of wild to me. I've never been one who's been looking to be popular, or I've never wanted to just jump into trends for the sake of being seen, really. So having people kind of find me and see my art and like what I do is still wild for me to wrap my head around, because so much of it is just, I feel very selfish. I just want to draw what I want to draw, and that's why I have like hundreds of pictures of Brian. But apparently a lot of other people kind of like it too, so
kind of like it.
yeah, and inspiring other artists is wild for me to hear too, but I think that's kind of the art teacher in me, where I love seeing people just kind of put their talents and their passions into something and to create and produce art, and then to kind of foster that and acknowledge that is, I don't know, it's just like embedded in me.
I just love that so much.
It's just, I don't know, I can't explain it. I remember so distinctly, and this was, you know, way in the beginning. I had only drawn Brian like a handful of times, but I remember so clearly seeing this community on Instagram that hadn't really sort of found its footing yet. It existed, but it just wasn't together yet. And I was like, there is really something here that is so special. Like, it's just Brian specifically that I couldn't put my finger on. I was like, I can't explain it, but there's something about artists and Brian that just creates magic, you know? And so that's the moment that I kind of like fell into the community properly. And yeah.
I think you founded it, man.
Yeah, I think so.
We're talking to the founder of the Brian May community.
I think Brian May is the founder of the Brian May community. I don't know.
I think he co-founded it.
Don't want to say I'll take that, but okay, if you insist.
I do. I insist. Thank you. Wow, she's aggressive. Jeez. Excuse me. Okay. Who's your? Well, I mean, there's a couple different ways this could be interpreted. Who's been your greatest influence for pursuing art?
Well, definitely Brian.
I have a feeling.
Yeah, that's a good question. I want to say there's probably like a bunch of tattoo artists that I've always admired and their styles and stuff like that. You know, traditional painters and stuff. Vincent van Gogh's one of my favorites. I don't know, it just, I'm inspired by a lot of things around me, and so there's always just like a constant drive to want to improve, challenge myself, get better, and it's influenced by a lot of the incredible artwork that I see around me, and by this community too. Like, oh my god, I'll see so many like insane pieces and be like, this is so cool, like I want to try something like that, you know.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, you seem like a very observant person. I'm starting to get that.
I'm always like on the lookout for things. I have a few folders on my Instagram where it's just inspiration, and if I see something that I'm like, oh, I like the colors in this, or I like, you know, just the idea of this, or I like this photo, I'm always saving stuff for later on. And I never know if or when I'll use it, but it's nice to have something to be like, what should I do? And be like, oh yeah, I was thinking of that. So.
Oh, I love that you're so inspirational, and yet you still find inspiration in everybody else. That's awesome. Very embedded in that community, and that's great.
Oh yeah.
So, AnaLynne, when you're not creating, what are you up to?
I am generally sleeping. But when I'm not creating, I don't know, usually listening to music, watching some YouTube videos. I'm really chill. I don't do much. I'm going out to get Tim Hortons because I live in Canada, so I get my Tim Hortons. Yeah, I'm very boring when I'm not creating, unfortunately.
Take that back.
It's true. I'm just saying the truth.
That was directly offensive.
Sorry. Just being honest.
Ugh. All right. Well, what's your favorite part about making art? I think I have a feeling as to how you're gonna answer this now, but is it the production or the building of ideas, or what is it?
I want to say all of it. Probably, you know, making it is very zen for me, but sometimes it can be frustrating. More often than not, though, it's at the end, I can look at it and be like, I did that. All of my hours and time and everything is, I'll look and be like, okay, I did that. And then sometimes I'll look and be like, how did I do that? Because I'll be so focused, or I'll be like, I don't even understand how this came together from what I had in my mind versus the end product. Can be interesting sometimes. But,
I can't understand how you do it either, honestly.
no, yeah, it's, I perplex myself sometimes.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. What's your favorite Queen song?
White Queen.
Oh,
Yeah, I have the, I don't know if you can see properly. I have the lyrics for it tattooed on my arm.
that is so cool. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, White Queen, hands down my favorite.
What's your favorite album?
Oof, oof. Well, by that logic, Queen 2 is always one that I fall into. But lately, you know, I've really loved The Miracle. I've listened to that one quite a lot. Oh, geez, I can't. It's like asking to pick a favorite child. It just
You know what? I can relate to that. Queen is just incredible. They're my favorite band. So, I mean,
yeah, I have favorite songs are on every album, you know, like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Getting to talk to another fan is like the best thing ever.
Absolutely, yeah. You just get to geek out.
All right. AnaLynne has one last question. No! She's about it every time. No, but this one's especially hard. AnaLynne, would you please ask? Ugh, fine. Sarah, do you have any words of wisdom that you want to share with the viewers here?
Words of wisdom. Well, I think I want to say this caters more to artists, but I suppose it could be to anyone who wants to adapt it. But be patient and kind to yourself when you're learning a new skill, be it art, music, or anything really. It can be frustrating starting out and not being at the skill level where you want to be, because you'll look at other people and think, oh, what I'm making right now is not that. And I still feel that. I'll be like, dang, if only I could, you know, be there. But don't be discouraged. Use that as the motivation and drive to keep practicing and keep working on your skills and abilities, and kind of don't give up. You know, art and any other skill takes time to develop. You know, you can look back a week from now and be like, oh, I've already improved. A month, a year, a few years, you'll always be improving, be it a success or failure. Just trying builds up. So that's kind of my advice, is just to be kind to yourself when you're learning and be patient. It does happen.
I just love that so much. Oh my goodness. That was fantastic. Well, gee, wow. Gosh, what a way to end that. Thank you so much for coming on here and chatting with us. This has been a blast.
Thank you for asking me to come on. This has been a lot of fun. It's been wonderful meeting you both.
She's talking to me again, AnaLynne.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. See ya.
Beyond the clouds and the rain, a place where your sadness drains, where the sun peers over your sadness and your pain. There is no gravity, yet within this cavity you make your own truth. Your dreams will come true if your mind isn't glued to the fact that life is so blue. Your dreams cannot stay if you don't repay yourself for making it through. The path to making your dreams come true.